Well, it's fairly 30 minutes into the hour, and we want to bring you our special feature tonight. Now, in many African cultures, children biologically born with a sex that cannot be entirely defined are normally treated as a taboo. Kenya is not an exception. These children were either killed at birth or hidden from the world. Well, these people are known as intersex. When intersex people grow up and are exposed to the world, their bodies and systems unravel due to innate hormones. At this stage, they face stigma and discrimination throughout their lives. For those who end up in sports, a different challenge awaits them. Here is Chebet Birir with a special feature tonight.
My mother raised me as a lady because I was born a lady, you know.
She hates it when people refer to her as a man, a gender she does not want to identify with. She cites several instances, like when she went to cast her vote in the 2017 general elections. She was harassed when she joined a queue meant for women.
I went there as a lady because I have an ID which is written a lady, a female. So I went there to make a queue. I was being chased away from the women. Yeah, they think that I'm not a lady, you know, just go to the men's line, you know. So that's one thing that makes me feel so bad. So even me, myself, I was even rejecting myself because I think I was not somebody, or I was not even someone who is being recognized by others.
The stigma and discrimination have negatively affected all aspects of Linda's life. It is even more challenging for her whenever she seeks opportunities, especially in the world of sports. Linda is a passionate and excellent athlete. Many talented athletes who identify as intersex find it hard to continue with training because of stigma. This form of discrimination is not only from their fellow athletes, but also from some of their coaches. Intersex people are part of a small population in the society born with sex development disorders, or DSD. We are here in Eldoret City, where most Kenyan world athletic champions hail from. Some athletes with differences in sex development are also trained here. However, only they know where the shoe pinches, as most lack a sense of belonging and end up dropping out of the training camps. Being identified as an intersex person is considered taboo here in Eldoret. Due to the stigma attached to the condition, some of the athletes we approached for an interview sought anonymity.
When we went for a competition, I played soccer with other girls, but I used to score many goals. But people were like, at this early age, he's playing like a man. So we were in a competition when I scored a score, and the people were like, no, how can someone score from this distance, far distance, and is a girl? That is when they stopped the match and say, no, we want to go and check, is this a girl or a boy? That is where I started realizing there is something wrong. They took me, they went and checked for me, we went, I and madam, and the person who was organizing that competition, they went, they checked me. After coming back, then the madam said, no, this is just a guy like others. We have checked, just a guy like others.
majority of the coaches don't understand it. But for me, I could read their psychology even when they are going out to bet, they don't want to bet with other people. They are very much tortured. So I used to talk to some of the coaches, please, can you allow this girl? No, don't force her to go and bet with the rest.
In March 2023, the World Athletics ruled that DSD athletes will be required to reduce their blood testosterone levels to below 2.5 nanomoles per liter, down from 5. They also must remain under this threshold for 2 years in order to compete in international events in the female category of any track and field event. This decision has affected talented athletes like Linda Kageha, who cannot participate in sporting activities beyond Kenya.
I started in high school, going outside the country, from East Africa, going to Rwanda, Burundi, to Uganda, all those countries. Okay, from now, I'm not supposed to run beyond international games, so our competition don't have to you don't have to go beyond international or compete in international games, like the games that are going out to represent outside the country. You are not supposed to run even in the national team, because you are not even going to qualify. Even if you qualify, you don't go somewhere, because now we are totally banned from the sports. We didn't even expect this, because we were just expecting that they'll have to make something for us intersex in sports, that if we run this to this maximum, but now we are totally banned. So I don't think it makes me feel bad, because I love athletics, I love sports.
That is not my specialty. We have the committee that is handling that. The lady who was supposed to give you that information is not here now, because she's doing something else in outside Nairobi. You know, that is a matter which is very sensitive. It is very sensitive, and I don't want to comment much on that. I know there was communication from World Athletics about that gender DSDs, and the committee is there. It is actually a medical issue that is being handled by the doctors who are affiliated to Athletics Kenya. So that's the matter that is being handled by them. And of course, I don't have enough information to discuss that.
Linda has her misgivings to reduce the testosterone levels to meet the threshold for international competitions.
One of us who decided to take those drugs, right now when you are talking right now, she's in hospital. Just going, she went through some surgeries, you know, she went through that injection to reduce those testosterone to a normal lady because of the pressure from the family, you know. Now she's in the hospital, being treated, being on drugs, because now she has difficulty in breathing. She had that crippled leg. She has, the drugs gave her asthma, you know, which she was not born with the asthma. The asthma came from those drugs. So that's where on a point that we feel like these drugs are not okay with us, you know. And even when God created me like this, who am I to change my body from this to this?
When it comes to issues of, for example, treatments, hormone therapy to lower testosterone or to block the effects, I think that one is a discussion that should be held with a team. In Kenya, for example, if I'm not wrong, I think in Kijabe, they do have a center where parents or families with children DSD can be walked through that whole pathway. Sometimes someone may ask, for example, for a gender assignment. They want to either live as a male or a female, the hormones that they will need, the mental health support. In sports specifically, when it comes to the hormone treatments, I think the athlete should be informed. Just like a diabetic, a hypertensive, or anyone taking medication, that this is the option that has been provided if you want to continue in sport. And these are the pros and the cons, and allow that athlete to make that decision. And then should they have side effects or any challenges that they have, someone to speak to, and they are offered with alternatives of how to manage that.
Linda hopes for a review of the World Athletics decision.
We were just expecting that they'll have to make something for us intersex in sports, that if we run this to this maximum, but now we are totally banned. So I don't think it makes me feel bad, because I love athletics, I love sports.
They should not ban them completely. They should look for a state whereby they can participate on their own, so that they also go into athletics, because if you remove that athletics completely from them, then you are killing them.
Have a policy that actually guides how you handle that. So should you meet an athlete who ends up being having DSD, how to speak to them about it, how to talk to them about the testing, how to divulge the test results, and how to prepare them, just for example, the media backlash, and how people or the public, how the public speaks about them. So it's just sort of to prepare people for that environment.
Globally, some intersex infants and children with ambiguous outer genitalia are surgically or hormonally altered to create more socially acceptable sex characteristics. According to activists, this is considered a human rights abuse, since such treatments may involve sterilization. Some elite female athletes like Caster Semenya from South Africa have been subjected to such treatment. Following Semenya's victory at the 2009 World Championships, she was made to undergo testosterone tests, but she was cleared to return to competition the following year. The decision to perform sex testing sparked controversy in the sporting world and in Semenya's home country of South Africa. Later, reports disclosed that Semenya has the intersex condition 5-alpha reductase deficiency. This means that Semenya had naturally high testosterone levels in the typical male range at the time she was competing. Female athletes of color have historically faced disproportionate scrutiny and discrimination when it comes to sex testing. This has always followed false accusations that they are male or transgender.
At some point, actually from age 2 onwards, children begin to identify with a certain gender. So depending on how you dress them, if it's a boy, mostly you'll find them dressed in blue. If it's a girl, you'll find pink, you'll find purple, these gully colors. Even the kind of toys that we buy for our children. For boys, we'll invest more in toy cars, in balls, and then for girls, we'll invest more in playhouses and dollies and stuff. So they kind of start taking the roles, gender, male versus female. Now for this one, she was raised as a girl. And I'm pretty sure the caregivers could see that she's neither a girl, or they are neither a girl or a boy, but they didn't know what else to do after that. Because remember, this is not a topic that is widely discussed. Actually, it's still a taboo, it's a stigmatized issue. So for them, it was easier to just take one, identify with one, and cover it up. But of course, as the child grew, they could feel there's a mismatch, I see boys, they pee while standing, because they notice these things, or I see girls, they pee while sitting. Whereas for me, I'm not able to do, I can do either, and it doesn't sound okay. So they start introspecting, or they start thinking and looking inwards, and they're like, there's something wrong with me. And one of the most damaging things you can do to a child is to not let them have a sense of identity, because this damages their self-esteem, this damages their perception of the world. And the fact that they cannot even ask, why am I like this? Because it's a harsh topic. Probably they tried asking, I can imagine. They must have tried asking, why am I suing? Why? Nobody was there to give them an answer. So the kind of identity crisis that happens, the effect on the self-esteem, the effect on their self-concept and the self-image, it causes a huge amount of damage.
A more recent case involved Algerian professional boxer Imane Khelif. After her victory over Italy's Angela Carini during the 2024 Paris Olympic Games, misinformation surfaced on social media about her gender and eligibility to compete. False claims that Khelif is male were fueled by her previous disqualification from the 2023 Women's World Boxing Championships organized by the Russian-led International Boxing Association. She allegedly failed unspecified gender eligibility tests. The International Olympic Committee and its Paris boxing unit stated Khelif was eligible to compete in the Olympics. They also criticized IBA's previous disqualification as sudden and arbitrary and described it as having been taken without any due process. Testosterone is a natural hormone that increases the mass and strength of bone and muscle after puberty. The normal adult male range rises multiple times higher than females, up to 30 nanomoles per liter of blood compared to less than 2 nanomoles per liter for women. According to the Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, intersex people are individuals born with any of several sex characteristics which do not fit into the typical binary definitions of male or female bodies and traits. Some of the characteristics that distinguish these variations include chromosomes, genitalia, reproductive organs, sex hormones, and physical features. Ryan Mwiruri was born with both male and female organs in Kiambu County 34 years ago. He says the midwife could not tell whether he was a boy or a girl. His mother decided he would be a girl and named him Ruth Wangoi. However, after Ryan hit puberty, he found himself identifying more as a man, and after being distraught and attempting suicide 7 times, he decided to be an activist. He is now the founder of the Intersex People's Society of Kenya, which is dedicated to championing the rights and visibility of the intersex community in Kenya.
Many intersex are school dropout, so many of them have no formal jobs. So you find even many of them cannot even afford to pay the simple health insurance like NHIF. So what we do as an organization, we try to pay for those who cannot be able to pay for NHIF, so at least they have the most basic insurance. So when they need to see the doctor, that can help. Another is a way of empowerment. The fourth thematic area is empowerment. We try to empower them either through trainings, either through business startup for those who are an adult already and maybe they need to start up something, or maybe so we try to make sure at least we support them. And for those who are in school, maybe they need empowerment. We try to empower them. We offer ourselves as counseling. We offer ourselves like any other support like they may need in terms of empowering them.
According to the Intersex Advocacy Organization, or Interact, there are over 30 defined terms for different intersex variations. Some examples of these variations include 5-alpha reductase deficiency, or 5-ARD, which causes changes in testosterone metabolism that lead to genital differences. People with 5-ARD have XY chromosomes and testes. They may have a typical penis, vulva, or unidentifiable genitals at birth. Androgen insensitivity syndrome, or AIS, causes a complete or partial insensitivity to androgens or male sex hormones. People with AIS have XY chromosomes and testes, but depending on the level of insensitivity, they may have differing variations in external sex characteristics. Clitoromegaly and micropenis is another sex variation. Clitoromegaly is characterized by a clitoris that's larger than typical, while micropenis is characterized by a penis that's smaller than typical. Both conditions are usually associated with other types of intersex variations. Congenital adrenal hyperplasia, or CAH, causes differences in hormone production, including cortisol, aldosterone, and androgens. It is more common for XX individuals with CAH to experience changes in sex characteristics than XY individuals with the condition. Gonadal dysgenesis causes variation in the development of the testes and ovaries before birth. People with complete gonadal dysgenesis don't have developed testicles or ovaries, which can affect or prevent puberty. People with partial gonadal dysgenesis have chromosomal changes that often lead to internal and external sex differences. 29-year-old Gloria Luhunga is a researcher at the Kenya Human Rights Commission who also identifies as an intersex person. It has been a life full of stigma for him, but he has overcome it all. And when it comes to romantic relationships,
it wasn't really easy, because before someone understands you, you must have, told them something, one or two, about you, and they can't understand you on first meeting unless second or third meeting. That I earlier said that as an intersex person, you must brief whoever you are dating who you are. Let it not come as a shock to them, because many of people who come to date intersex persons, this is a person of you. Many who come to date intersex persons, they just come to explore. They come to see how is the structure of intersex genitals. But as for me, I really depend on this intersex persons bill. Once it gets enacted to become a law, I think I will be among the first intersex persons, to get married. Yeah, because now I cannot.
In 2019, Kenya became the first African country to recognize intersex persons in its census. The census recorded 1,524 intersex persons, with the oldest being 92 years of age. With the enactment of a law protecting intersex children, Kenya also became the first African country to grant official recognition to intersex people as a third gender starting July 2022. Since then, intersex people are eligible for an I gender marker on their identity cards. The Kenya National Commission on Human Rights has the core mandate of ensuring promotion and protection of human rights in Kenya, including safeguarding the rights of intersex persons. This is according to Article 59 of the Constitution of 2010 and Section 8 of the KNCHR Act. The Intersex Bill 2023 is an act of parliament that provides for the recognition, protection, and safeguarding of intersex persons' human rights in Kenya. If it is passed into law, intersex people will have full rights to equal opportunities. They will be under affirmative action and be able to sue for non-discrimination, among other rights.
I wish to have children, because they always say having a wife is a good thing. Another good thing is having, children. So we need to make children.
In a landmark vote, the Human Rights Council on April 4th, 2024, adopted a resolution that calls on member states to enhance efforts to combat discrimination, violence, and harmful practices against intersex people. It is the first of its kind for the United Nations. The resolution calls on states to work towards fulfilling the enjoyment of the highest attainable standards of physical and mental health for persons with innate variations in sex characteristics. Even with these measures in place, one can only hope that the society will come to the acceptance and realization that intersex people are human and they need nothing but love and acceptance. Chebet Birir, KTN News, Nairobi.